One of the things that the clubs here at Snead do is we like to have some type of service. And you have to admit it's hard for a history club to have service because all the stuff we do are dead people. So what we want to do is we wanted to do a little service for Snead's campus and tell you a little bit about the history of Snead State and give you a history of place. You're in a very historic place physically right now, and our campus is very historic, and we want to give you just about 10 minutes of brief history of what this is about. At the conclusion of our presentation, our College Street Singers are going to come up and they're going to sing the alma mater, and so we will make sure and tell you about that. So first of all, in about 1877, 48 people left Cleburne County, Alabama. They made it to Sand Mountain, and they bought land for 50 cents an acre. And by 1891, we have the city of Boaz. There was a one-room schoolhouse here, but most of the education that we had on the mountain was in Albertville at an agricultural school. So Boaz decided they wanted their own school. So they contacted the Alabama Conference of the Methodist Episcopal Church on the condition that the conference would create a high school and continue to run an elementary school. Nope, it didn't. Yeah, it didn't. In 1898, the church took this responsibility. And in 1899, the elders that we see pictured here and that our dorm is named after began to run the school with 70 students, but soon attracted 189 students. Mr. Elder realized that there needed to be more for this school, and he contacted a businessman named John H. Snead. He gave $65,000 to expand the land holdings, and by 1900, the school held its first graduation, and by 1901, growth required a new building. In 1906, Reverend J.L. Brasher was asked to be the first president of John H. Snead Seminary, and the first official graduating class was in 1907. By 1909, this building was built on this spot. Actually, between this wing and the other wing where math is held, that building was originally put. This expanded educational opportunities and the student housing was provided by the elders. Students actually boarded on campus, and they ate in the cafeteria that we had called McCleskey Dining Hall. But they were also witness to a smallpox epidemic. A student complained of feeling unwell, and all of a sudden they realized there was smallpox on campus. 85 students and faculty were afflicted. However, they never closed the school and continued to have class during the epidemic. Remember that in the coming semester.
Our second president was Dr. William Fielder, and he started to expand Snead with the construction of the boys' dorm. And the boys' dorm did hold about 80 to 100 young men. Nevertheless, young ladies, you would find a home in McCleskey Hall. And of course, these students, they began to do their own thing. They went to classes, they held their jobs, and they hung out just as we do.
Except we hope that you don't hang out the windows at Snead, as these young men are doing. That's probably not the best idea.
The students, they began to form literary societies, such as the Adelphian, and they held events such as the Lyceum. And those of you who do not know what a Lyceum is, it's a very popular speaking event at the time. Students began to study many different classes, and the domestic arts were very popular. And for those of you who do not know domestic arts, that's sewing, dress and clothes making, embroidery, and other, household things that everyone should learn. Aren't we glad we don't have those now? Other skills that were taught were, of course, cooking and music classes. Those were very popular. Then came 1918 and the Great War. We know it today as World War I, and when it ended, people across the world celebrated, and everyone at Snead celebrated as well. All right, this picture shows the armistice celebration, and in the front, maybe you can see it as Dr. Fielder. And over to the right are a couple nuns.
So we've had nuns on campus. In case you ever wondered, they're here.
In 1920 and 1921, the administration as we know it, the administration building as we know it, was constructed. The chapel was first, and it would later be renamed Fielder Auditorium. Over on the other side, where math classes are now held, was the recitation building. And once these two buildings were completed, in order to create the middle, they knocked down the original building. And they formed it together in what we know as the administration building today. And right here, you'll see a group of students next to their new auditorium. But with all these new additions, things became expensive. Snead became for the rich and the elite. A full year of room and tuition was $170.
Yeah, some of you just paid that for a math book, didn't you?
Now, with this $170, it did include your room fees. It's $15 a month for the boys, $14 a month for the girls.
Now, with the Roaring Twenties, there was a great interest in sports. And sports are a really big part of Snead today as well. One of the things that we did have, though, was we had a football team.
We're still undefeated.
And we are still undefeated. Interesting note about the football team, we played state schools. We also played the University of Alabama, who we defeated. So there's a War Eagle there somewhere. And unfortunately, the football program was closed down. It was running a deficit. The board felt like that $7.21 deficit was too much, and they couldn't continue the program. So it was shut down right prior to World War II. But we also had one of the sports that we still have today, and that's men's basketball. And this men's basketball team is from 1924. The photograph was made on the steps of this very building. We also had women's sports. Women's basketball was available here as well. I don't think we'll see Coach Plummer dressed like this, but you can tell these are fine, professional, athletic women. Yeah. At odd times you might. And the high school continued to graduate students. That was one of the most important things, was graduation of students. By 1933, there was an increased movement in America for the founding of junior colleges. The first junior college in America was founded in Joliet, Illinois in 1901. And after a few years, it comes south. There was no school higher than a high school within 57 miles, so it was decided that Snead would also offer college classes. John H. Snead Seminary opened September 1st, 1935, as an accredited junior college with Dr. Conway Boatman, who was pleased with the $125 that it took to originate the college. Increased classes made increased money. They even got a bus. The bus would transport people from Albertville and Gadsden that wanted to attend Snead.
And although our buses seem a little old, they may not be the original ones.
Yes, we stopped using the original one year before last. By 1940, only college classes were taught, and the elementary and high schools were reverted back to the city of Boaz. Now, students tried to make money to stay within Snead's campus, and they worked as work studies. Snead had a farm. So you might milk your way to education, or you might can your way to education. And of course, the next picture is going to show a whole new way to pick your classes, because you might also pick cotton at the local farm. Now, there is one story from the Depression era that kind of is very interesting. One of the presidents knew one of the things that was done up here was the making of sorghum syrup. And so he took sorghum syrup when the school was in bad financial distress, and he went down to Birmingham and sold it and brought the money back to keep the school alive.
At this time, new buildings such as Pfeiffer Hall and the new library, which we called Norton, were built by 1943. But with World War II, the struggles began, and resources and students were scarce. In the school year of 43 and 44, there was only 47 to 67 students on campus. And here you'll see some of these students walking from the girls' dorm to their classes. By 1954,
That was inappropriate about freshwater.
By 1954, the school was in debt once again, and this time it was about $65,000. But by 1957, the school was once again out of debt, things were stable again, and buildings began. The Student Union Building and the Fine Arts Department were built, and by 1965, enrollment increased by more than 600 students. The school was strong enough to now add the chapel and the cafeteria. The chapel, of course, held many weddings.
In the first of the weddings, one of our own instructors, Dr. Denham, was a bridesmaid. And you can see Dr. Denham in her youth here and her mini skirt. She says she can still wear the skirt, so we're going to wait to see for that one.
By 1967, the school joined the state system of junior colleges and had signage to lead people to campus. And with the additional technical courses that were added in 1922, Snead officially became Snead State Community College. 1992. Yep. No matter what, Snead is often still called SMU, Sand Mountain University. But we take this as a nod, because this is the best education you can find on Sand Mountain. Names such as McCleskey, Elder, Fielder, Norton, Corley, Weathers, Osborne, and many, many others are very evident on our campus, in the Boaz community, and the people sitting in this room today. The history of Snead is a part of these people, and their impact is a part of the history of Snead.
But what makes Snead? Yes, the historic buildings are lovely. The campus isn't like cookie-cutter junior colleges that we find throughout our state. And the faculty is well respected and attractive and talented. But really, what makes Snead? Really, what is the essence? The students. You're the students at Snead State. You follow in the footsteps of all of these faces that are looking at you from the yellowed pictures that we've looked at today. Students graduated in this very room. Students played sports here. Students studied. Students joined clubs. They were active. And they enjoyed their education and their relationship with their fellow students. Yes, you are the students at Snead, and you're continuing a line of education that goes back more than 100 years. When you take an exam, when you take the field to play a sport, or just relax under a tree on campus, you're a part of Snead, and Snead is a part of you. Please remember that, and thank you for choosing Snead. This is an important historic institution, and you're now a part of that history. Now, in closing, please remember that Snead has an alumni association. Students get half off of membership for 1 year or a lifetime membership as well. The price is good as long as you're students, and we encourage you to be a member of the Alumni Association. There's also discounts that come with the alumni membership. Now, if you walk around the gazebo, which some of you have, you'll see bricks. And these are from students, faculty, staff, and any other group that wants to donate to our campus. If you know someone that went to Snead, please contact the alumni office. They would love for you to have a brick. We bought bricks for previous presidents who are no longer here, and it's a great opportunity for you to show the love. Some of you may have had grandparents or parents that went here, so that's very, very important. We're also having a Parson tailgate event. We're going to have a live DJ, door prizes, and it's September 30th from 10 to 11 at the gazebo, and they'll move inside the sub if there's rain, but it doesn't look like we're going to get rain till October. So, we encourage you to be active on our campus and be a part of our history. Right now, you're going to see another part of our history, and that is our College Street Singers. They are going to sing the alma mater to us. We ask you to please rise in honor of the alma mater and for the gentlemen to remove your hats. At the end of the singing, you may return to your classes. Thank you.
Dear alma mater, thy towering pine trees rise.